Welcome to Be Who They Come To, where healing meets humor and spirit meets story. Oriana and Kelly are two friends who've stumbled, laughed, cried, and somehow found their way back to source. This podcast is a space to share the messy, magical journey of recovery, healing, and rediscovering themselves, and ideally, helping you do the same, with plenty of laughter along the way, because sometimes the best medicine really is a mix of soul work and a good sense of humor. And now, be who they come to.
Heyo.
Hey, Kel,
How you
how's it
doing?
going?
Oh, living the dream. Living the
Right.
dream.
Right?
Friday. Yay.
Friday. Yeah, Friday.
Friday.
means nothing to those of us who are self-employed. Might as well be a Tuesday night.
Or Friday.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
For all you government employees out there, But you know what? There's something to be said about working like condensed work week, so that there's like every other Friday off, or however it is that that gets to work out for some people.
Well,
I feel
it's like the
I did that.
it's like the kids' PD days. They have a PD day like every month now.
I know. Why
Like, what?
don't we have grown-up PD days?
You know what? We should.
Personal development days? Why not?
We
You know what? It was
absolutely
funny
should.
when I was a teenager and my parents were splitting up, about 13 or 14 years old. My mom, and we thought she was like the coolest mom ever because she let us have mental health days.
Yep. I
So,
do
like,
that with my kids.
yeah, one day a month we were
Yep.
allowed to just like chill the hell out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, those mental health days are super important though.
I agree.
Yeah, they're super important. So today we are doing part 2 of
Mhm.
recovery, and this
Yep.
is more substance recovery. And I just wanted to put a little disclaimer out. I am a trauma and addiction counselor by trade, but I wanted to this podcast is personal for me. So some of the things that I might be saying, it's not from a clinical lens.
Mhm.
It's from a personal lens, because I
Mhm.
may say I have my own opinions
Yep.
about recovery, and some of them don't align with the actual clinical lens of recovery.
All right.
I just wanted to be able to speak freely
No, exactly, because that's what this
as
is
an
about, right?
individual, not as a trauma and addiction counselor. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I'm Kelly today.
Good. I'm Oriana.
Yeah, nice
Right?
to meet you.
Pay attention now. Pay attention. But no, like, we wanted to start this off. So I want to start this off actually. And I would like to, and I think it's very fitting, to just say a little prayer,
Right,
and more specifically, the Serenity Prayer.
right.
So if y'all want to just give your eyes a little close, and you can clasp your hands together the way you do it. You can hold your hands out, you can twiddle your thumbs, whatever you want to do.
Mm.
But just kind of out of respect for the subject, I think it's appropriate. So I'll start with that. So
Mhm.
if you're not familiar with it, listen carefully. So God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So that's the short version. There is a longer version. I've heard it. I'm not very familiar with it though, but that's the portion that resonates with me, and I think with a lot of
Mhm.
people. What does it mean to you, Cal? Like, when you hear those words, like, what are you thinking?
I think different times in my life, it's meant different things.
Mm-hmm.
And there was times where I thought the Serenity Prayer was bullshit.
Yeah.
It's been like a roller coaster, but I mean, it is super powerful.
Yeah.
And I think when you um maybe not even need prayer, because some people don't believe in prayer, but
Mm-hmm.
the prayer it's good advice.
That's the thing, right? It's
It's
you don't
good
even have
advice.
God grant me the serenity. You can
Yeah.
just say, grant me whoever, higher power, whatever,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
my cheesies, like grant me the serenity.
Hmm.
Like it's
Yeah.
it's about acceptance, I think, and surrender,
Yeah.
right? And to just kind of let things be, let it flow as it should, as it's supposed to,
I
right?
think when it says um, accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can, that
Hmm.
is so powerful because
I think so too.
sometimes when you're in it, we tend to hyperfixate on things that we may not have control over. So
That's
then
it.
we feel completely powerless.
And control's an illusion to begin with, right?
Absolutely, it
It's
is.
an illusion to begin with, and I think the part that talks about courage too, I
Hmm.
think a lot of us spend a lot of time, shaking in our boots over
Yep.
things, and
Yep.
there's that whole saying, be afraid and do it anyway.
Yes. Yes.
And I like that because we're often afraid, right? A lot of
Certainly.
people walk through life afraid of saying things, afraid of being themselves, afraid of the outcome of things. And so it paralyzes them, right?
Hmm.
And you've got to start somewhere. So, yeah,
I
courage.
think fear is anxiety, and
Yeah.
it's the fear of the unknown.
Yep.
And
Yep.
coming from somebody who has anxiety,
Mhm.
it's you step outside of it to be like, okay, I may not actually have control over this. So
Yep.
it's surrendering. It's having the
Yep.
courage to be like, please, higher power, God, or even
Yep.
myself, guide me into a different direction.
That's
Because
right.
this one I don't have control over. So
That's
it's
right.
also accountability.
That's it. That's it. And I've learned, over the last few years too, if you're kind of dealing with something that you have very little control over,
Hmm.
it's become helpful to me to use the word surrender. And
Right.
and I actually have a shirt that says, God, do your thing.
Hmm.
Like, I give it to you, do your thing. Because you letting go, that release is helpful to me
Hmm.
anyway. I um it helps me recenter, and ground in my faith,
Right.
right? Where I believe that everything's going to be fine no matter what, you
Right.
know? So you give it to
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Or or give it to the universe, give it to the
Yeah.
stars, the
Whoever, that's
moon.
it. Give it to your
You know,
doggy, like, yeah.
sometimes people have a hard time integrating God back into their life,
Yep.
but when they do some work, I think it's a little bit easier
I
to
agree.
integrate him back and being like, okay, I trust this process. Because
That's
a
it.
lot of people in recovery have like huge trust issues, right? And a
Yeah.
lot of them have even a hard time trusting themselves. I
Yep.
know in my own recovery, not from substance, but I doubted myself all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So and that's why too, like with AA and NA, it's one day at a time
Mhm.
instead of worrying about forever, because forever can be absolutely overwhelming.
With anything, setting a
Hmm.
goal, like,
Hmm.
it's definitely, for me too, easier to think of it as like, okay, today
Hmm.
this is how it's going to be. Today I'm not going to do this, or today I'm doing this. And then you'll worry about tomorrow.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah,
It's
and
just
it
get through day 1.
works.
Get through day 1.
Yeah.
Get through hour 1. Get through this
Yeah.
hour, get through this 5 minutes,
Hmm.
one tiny little, break it down as much as you need to until you
Hmm.
become more successful, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. But planning it kind of one day at a time, every 24 hours, and when you've accomplished things that you said you were going to do,
Mhm.
then it builds confidence in
Yep.
you.
Yep.
Because
It
you're
does.
like, wow, I actually went to the bank today, even if that, or I went to a meeting today, or I reached out to my sponsor today, or I took a walk. You know,
Mhm.
because like sometimes looking at a bigger picture just can just be so overwhelming.
Yep, exactly. And
Mhm.
I think it keeps you grounded too. When you have like
Absolutely.
smaller little goals like that too, it keeps you
Mhm.
present. And I think that's the trick too, is trying to stay present in the present moment, because that
Yes.
lessens anxiety, it lessens depression, because depression is what? It's about the past, anxiety is about the future, right? And we have no
Yeah.
control over any of that. What we have control over is right now. So I think trying to stay present, trying to stay grounded,
Mhm.
can help with those uneasy feelings as well.
Right. No, absolutely.
You
And
know, and
that's why
that builds consistency, right?
absolutely.
And
And
habit.
accepting that there's going to be setbacks.
Always. Yeah.
Tomorrow is
It's
always another day,
that's it.
and
Setbacks,
I know, yeah, exactly. Setbacks, they
relapse,
do
relapse
happen.
is part of recovery too, right?
S-
With
Slips,
that's it. That's it.
they call it slips,
Yeah.
meaning not full relapse.
So what's
And
the
that's why.
difference?
So, um, you know, clinically,
Yes. So you're in
um,
your clinical understanding.
and then this is where I kind of, but uh a relapse is usually like when you kind of get right back into the bowels of hell with it. A
Right.
slip is more of where you went and used or you went and drank, but then within a very short period of time you reach out to your sponsor, you're accountable, you show up to your meeting, or you step back into the program as quickly as you can.
Hmm.
Those are deemed slips.
Okay.
Relapses usually contain period of time
Right.
where
There's
you
been
where
use or whatever for
multiple
multiple
uses, multiple
stretch.
days,
Right.
um, stuff like that. So that I mean
Mm.
that's it.
So, but both are normal. Both are part of the process, right? Slips,
They're part of
relapses.
treatment. They're
Yeah.
part of
Yeah.
treatment. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
but you know what I recommend is if you do slip, get right back on that horse.
That's it. You have to.
Mhm.
You have to.
Because when you have the ability to be like, oh, I made a mistake or I had a slip, it builds resilience to be like, okay, I did that, but you know what? I can get back on that horse.
That's it.
I can get back to that meeting, or I can,
Yep.
because slip doesn't have to be a full blown relapse. It
No.
doesn't need to go there. Yeah,
No, exactly. It doesn't. It doesn't. And it's like the overwhelm can take like the shame that's associated with that too, right? With a slip
absolutely.
or a relapse, there you go right back into that shame spiral.
No, that most likely gets you there, right? Like when
Yeah.
you're like, oh man, I screwed up again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's part of recovery. Nobody does it perfectly.
No.
It's like life. You would like we don't do it perfectly. There's going to be
No.
ups and downs, and it's just staying present and being like, you know what, I can work through this.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, but
and so,
it's with everything too, right? It's drugs, it's alcohol, it's food. It
yep,
could be sex, porn, relationships, love
right,
addiction. Like there's
yeah,
so many forms of addiction, and recovery
hmm,
can look almost the same for each of those
I
things,
think so. Yeah, yeah,
right? Like you can almost blanket that term recovery and healing. Like it
right,
applies to so many facets,
mm,
um, of so many sides of that coin. And it I know for myself, I dabbled in drugs as a teenager,
hmm,
and I dabbled. I struggled with drugs a lot as a
hmm,
teenager. I turned to anything and everything that took me out of my present reality.
right,
And, anything to numb, anything to escape. Um, and it took a lot for me to later understand that that doesn't make problems go away,
no,
right? What makes problems go away is facing them head on,
hmm,
turning right the fuck around, staring at your shadow, and being like, okay, let's go, let's tango, let's do this.
yeah. No, I was fairly lucky, but I had a very structured childhood per se. So
Okay, Kel, you want to call that? You're funny.
Yeah. No, but where I didn't have opportunity, and maybe we'll get in that
Dude, you find opportunity, man. I don't know about you, but like
Yeah.
I'm a pretty resourceful person. And
well, I was medicated at a really young age too, so maybe I was, escaping. I was just doing it the legal way. I don't
right?
know if
Right?
12 years old being on Prozac is probably the way to go, but
Right? Well,
yeah,
same, right? I'm a Prozac baby, quote unquote, too, as a teenager, and
that's it.
it's
And
that's what they did to all of us. It's oh, you look a little screwed up. Here's a happy little blue and white pill.
yeah, here's
Yeah.
Prozac.
Right?
And I'm not undermining Prozac by any
No,
means.
not at all.
It
Not at
does.
all.
And you know what? Maybe because of the Prozac, I didn't get involved in that. I don't know because I've seen
Right.
Prozac do beautiful things, but
Oh, 100%. It helped
I
me a lot.
was
It helped me a lot
I was
at the
young.
time. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think we
I
were
was
too young.
really young.
We were too young. But that's what they
And
did. That was our
yeah,
generation. We were the
yeah,
Prozac kids, right?
yeah, yeah.
You know?
And I think what it maybe did, and I'm not blaming them, but when you take medication and you're not provided the tools as well, it's kind of like, too, like I
Mm.
see a lot of people in recovery that were jacked up on Ritalin when they were kids,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And
All
so
kinds of ADHD medications.
I'm not,
Yep.
I have my ideals about big pharma.
Yep. Right?
So yeah, it just anyway, I I feel for me the medication, it obviously worked,
Hmm.
but I I don't think I was given tools because I think it
No.
was masking some things that were going on with me. So
Well, it's
then,
like you use that expression dry drunk, right?
yep, yep,
Just quitting something does not mean you're in recovery. Does not mean you've
no,
recovered.
no, you
You've
got to
just
do the work,
stopped drinking or stopped using,
right?
right?
Yeah,
Or just been given that medication.
right,
There are steps that have to follow that,
right.
right? You have to have a plan of some kind.
Mm-hmm,
Like for us, it's like here, slap some meds into these kids and off you go, and
mm-hmm.
sure it helped, but did it give me coping strategies? No. Did it
I
help when
don't
I
think
was,
so.
freaking out about something or
Mm-hmm,
depressed as hell sitting on my bedroom floor? Like
mm-hmm,
it didn't help me with that part, right? And it doesn't help you communicate with others. It doesn't, you don't all of a sudden grow these balls to talk to people and be like, well, this is what I'm
mm-hmm,
feeling. This is what I'm going through. It's same with addiction, right? And
mm-hmm,
it's
mm-hmm,
just because you stop using drugs or stop drinking, or stop eating sugar or food or
mm-hmm.
whatever that looks like, it doesn't mean you all of a sudden can communicate and articulate your feelings and what you're going through.
Well, with recovery, there's a lifestyle change. There's a behavior
Required. Yeah.
change.
Yep. Exactly.
And so it's you have to make the changes. Just quitting booze or drugs or, like you said, porn or whatever. It
Yep.
You can stop that,
Yep.
but you have to do the work.
That's it. That's it.
And there's practical tools, right? For that. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
I don't know if anybody's heard about the universal tool. I've never used it. HALT, which stands for hunger, anger, and loneliness. I'm tired. Uh, Hunger is cravings, easing the. So when you're going through kind of that need to use or to go out or to log on to the computer for porn or whatever,
Hmm.
um, hunger is more about cravings. So identify
So it's not
your
a hunger for
cravings.
food. It's just a hunger for whatever your fix is.
That's right.
Okay.
And so it's like, ooh, so it's identifying that. Right?
Okay.
And then the anger is, how are you going to release that hunger?
Right.
Because
What are you going to
with
replace it with?
somebody who's using drugs, if they're craving drugs, they're going to want to use drugs. So how can you replace wanting
Right.
to use? And what are
Right.
your supports that are going to be put in place that will
Hmm.
help you through that craving? Because
Hmm.
cravings will dissipate.
Yeah. Well, it's like quitting smoking. People who turn to food, for example, when they quit smoking, right?
Mhm.
You're gonna develop another problem,
Mhm.
right? Whether that be with your weight or blood sugar or whatever that looks like, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. And then loneliness,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
connection reduces risk.
Right.
That's AA and NA is probably not for everybody,
Mhm.
but peer support, I think, when you're going through recovery is essential.
Oh, 100%. You need to have at least your one person that you can talk to and build a community around yourself if you can. Like-minded people, people who have struggled with
Mhm.
the same things as you
Yeah.
have, you know?
I've
Yeah.
seen it work.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have seen it work time
Me
and
too.
time again. And sometimes even people get addicted to meetings where when you first
Right.
go into recovery, people are going to like 2 meetings a day just to stay
Mhm.
sober.
Yeah.
So that you have to, be careful with that. But hey, if they need to go into a meeting 5 days, 5 days a week to stay sober, then do that.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. 'Cause
but you
it's more
need to move
productive than
forward.
using or drinking or
It,
yeah,
it
exactly.
it absolutely is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can sort of
And
wean yourself off of that as you get better if you need to, right?
yeah, and then usually through AA and NA and other peer groups, you'll get a sponsor or,
Mhm.
whatever that
You're my sponsor.
you're my,
You're my
you're my
sponsor,
accountability coach.
right? My
Yeah.
partner. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't seen too many successful stories with people isolating in recovery. I see a lot of relapses in isolation.
That's it. And you've got to talk about it.
Yep.
Just because you've stopped that behavior does not mean it's
Hmm.
gone. It
Right.
doesn't mean the problem's gone. I've seen people quit drugs and just pretend like it never happened. Nope.
Right.
Nope. That was a part of
Hmm.
you. You resorted to using or drinking or whatever for a reason.
Hmm.
Why? Get
Yeah.
down to the bones of that, figure it out.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? What happened?
Hmm.
What made you go that route? Right?
Yeah. Oh no, it's true. And I mean, for me, there's a medical disease model and then there's the spiritual model, right?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
Gerber Gerber Mate,
But
Garber Mate.
yeah.
Um, I don't believe in everything, but it's interesting his perspective on addiction, and it's really he thinks it's a form of escapism.
Yeah. Yep.
And so which it is, but I
Mhm.
also believe in the disease model that we're somewhat predisposed to a certain degree
Yep.
and
Yep.
that we actually, you know, uh physically crave whatever that is. Like there's a dependency and I think it's in the brain and
Yeah, of
and
course.
stuff like that. So it's really kind of neat to look at different uh perspectives because a lot of people
Mhm.
will be like, well, just stop.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
stop. And it's like,
Yeah.
and when you peel back recovery, it's the disease model and the spiritual model, but I really personally believe in it that it's a soul disease. Your
Yeah.
soul.
There's a
Hmm.
lot of work that needs to be done on the soul level for sure. For
Hmm.
sure. It's not a one size fits all, it's like you said, some people AA, NA, not their
They're
jam,
like,
man.
no, thank
But you
you.
wanna you wanna take off and go do an ayahuasca,
Hmm.
and if that's gonna help you, do that. But it's
Hmm.
also not gonna fix everything. There are
No.
steps that need to happen afterwards.
Hmm.
Like, just because you're able to go do an ayahuasca,
Hmm.
for those of you who don't know, it's a tea
Hmm.
and it sends you on this journey. And there's just a whole lot of mess that happens. A lot of brings up a lot of stuff for you. There's a lot of
Hmm.
tears. There's people get physically ill, but it's usually done in a very supported setting with shaman and
Hmm.
guides and stuff like that. Usually, a lot of people go down south to do that. In case you're
Hmm.
not familiar with what an ayahuasca is, but they're known to help a lot of people with addiction issues.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
there's a lot of success stories. You know,
Hmm.
I would love to do an ayahuasca one day. I know it's not going to fix everything, but I think the
Hmm.
experience would be pretty profound. Um, but again, steps you need to take afterwards as well,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. And if you were to go into the recovery community, a lot of them would be like, no, that's a drug, like ketamine too. Like it's
Mhm. Yeah.
um
Psilocybin, like that it's
mhm,
all the people are going to tell you, you're just replacing
mhm,
one nasty habit with another or whatever.
mhm,
But like there's elements that come into play post post detox or oh hey Blue Jay.
mhm,
Um post detox, when mental health issues arise, right? When you get
yeah,
sober and you detox, depression can come into play, anxiety can come into play, and that's where potential medical intervention is required and medication, for example. Talk therapy, things like that. So just because you can, let's say, even go back to ayahuasca as an example, you go do your ayahuasca, you come back to reality, your day to day, 9 to 5, the kids are around, everything's stressful. How are you coping
mhm,
with it then? You're not in
mhm,
Costa Rica anymore.
yeah,
You don't have your guides with you. You don't have your shaman with you. What are you doing to then help yourself, right? Were you
right.
given tools,
Mhm.
you know?
Well, and that's and like I think where people are reluctant for treatment is like they're like, oh, NA AA doesn't work for me. So what is there? And there is like a lot of different uh peer groups and
Yep.
different support groups. Like
Mhm.
I've collected a list of them, and it's called Smart Recovery Canada.
Mhm.
It's CBT based, so cognitive behavior therapy,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
So in case you guys
That'll
don't know,
help.
cognitive behavioral therapy is it's a form of talk therapy.
But it's more behavior mod, right? So that would probably
Yes.
be really good for the people that have kind of stopped the substance, and so it's creating a new path for them, a
Yep.
new behavior.
Yep.
Cognitive behavior therapy is fantastic.
Yeah,
I've done it
there's
myself.
lots of
Yeah.
different forms of I've done it too. So there's like internal family systems, so IFS, there's interpersonal
Hmm.
therapy. There's lots of different kinds of talk therapy. You
Yeah.
just have to find the one
Hmm.
that works for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Because there's also Women for Sobriety, Indigenous healing circles,
Mhm. Healing
support
circles
lines
is cool.
too. And I think we shared that with on one of our the suicide uh 811 and Connect Ontario.
Yeah. Yep.
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 So if there's anybody, or just reach out to, like, I'm sure with your healthcare center, your community center,
Mhm.
um, you
Mhm.
know, AA meetings are pretty easily accessible, and
Mhm.
NA as well. So
Yep.
there's always something. If that's not for you, just
Mhm.
I encourage you to stay open-minded, because there maybe is a peer group that fits more to your need uh
Exactly.
of
Exactly.
recovery.
Yeah, a lot of people too when they're recovering turn to religion or spirituality,
Hmm.
right?
They
They
sure do.
they're you look for something larger than yourself
Yep.
and you're looking for answers, right?
Hmm.
And many of us look externally for answers.
Hmm.
And I think in my experience what spirituality has taught me is that I have all the answers.
Hmm.
I may not be aware of them yet. I may not be able to put it into words. I may not recognize it, but I have all the answers, right? We
Hmm.
all hold our own answers. And it puts the onus on us to make things better, right? I can't look to you and be like, Kelly, help me, help me, help me, help me. Even though I do, let's
Hmm.
be honest, I do it like every
Yeah.
day. But at the end of the day, it's just like in talk therapy. Sometimes just saying it out loud, you have your own aha moment, right?
Hmm.
Like you're like, holy fuck, well, I just solved my own problem. I just heard myself say it out loud and it made sense. And now I know what to do.
Hmm.
Help me take the steps, right?
Hmm.
So
Well, yeah, and I hate to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. In tarot, because I do tarot, and this is not but
yeah.
a lot of the time people come to me for a tarot reading.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll just, and majority of the people already know.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
already know, uh, because really when I do tarot, people are opening up their energy and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just a messenger. So
That's right. Yep.
I'm no psychic. I'm no, I'm
Yeah.
just a messenger.
Though you do
So,
have abilities, don't downplay that. Don't
yeah,
downplay.
sometimes it's a little bit freaky, but anyway,
Yeah.
that's another episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the answers are within, and when you're struggling, that's where support comes in. Peer support is so essential in recovery.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I with things that I've had to recover from throughout
Hmm.
my lifetime. I mean,
Hmm.
you have friends and you have family and whatever, but truly again, and I give you all the fucking credit all the time. Like, I don't know where I'd be without you. Don't know, don't know. I would be in a padded room, wrapped in one of them pretty little white jackets, that
We'd have matching straitjackets
we really would. We really would.
and not undermining anybody who's been in one. Like, we're
They're
we're here
probably
to.
comfortable. They're probably I mean, you've got a roof over your head, nice padded walls. I like the color white. Personally, I think I look good in white, so, you
I
know.
can't wear white. I look like a Pillsbury Doughboy in white. So well,
Nope.
they'll have to change the color. White is not my color.
Black is slimming.
Yes, exactly.
You
We
should
have
make
those
straight
in
jackets in
black.
black. I will more easily partake if you give me one in black.
Yeah, this is where our sixth sense of humor comes in. We're not mocking anybody. It's just we make
No.
light of things,
No, we have to.
So
We have to.
you have to matching straitjackets. It's
Well,
just
I think too, like when you struggle with mental health issues and you're, diagnosed with quote unquote mental illnesses or
Mhm.
an illness, people right away they use the word crazy, right? They associate
Right.
they call it crazy. So you and I call each
Hate
other
that word.
ourselves crazy all the time. We just use it
And
because
I
it's
think we do it because we've been called crazy.
yeah.
And so when we call each other, it doesn't have the same oomph.
No,
It's
the
kind of
punch is
like
there. The punch isn't there.
it's
And it's yeah.
yeah, no, go ahead. Oh.
No, I would just say it doesn't have the same meaning. Like people, for me, when I hear the word crazy,
Hmm.
like visually, I go to like somebody running around in circles, frantically screaming. Like it doesn't have the same meaning to me as it might to
Hmm.
other people. Um,
Yeah.
and
And
same with
there's nothing wrong with crazy. Like
no,
people like who are struggling with mental health issues and are unmedicated, like I don't think people wake up just like, and say, "Hey, I want to be an addict today," or "Hey, I want to be crazy today."
that's right.
Like
That's right.
so we, and that's why I just joke around with the word
Yeah,
crazy because it
we have
used to
to.
be a huge trigger word for me. Oh,
Yeah,
you're crazy. But a lot of the times I was called crazy and I was like, right.
yeah,
And I don't
right.
mean to toot my own
Your
horn,
instincts
but
are right. That's the problem there. Yeah, exactly. I feel you on that one, right? You're labeled or somebody refers to you as like, you're fucking crazy. Like, yeah, but how did I get there?
mhm,
What contributed to that exactly? What
yeah.
was your role in my crazy? Let's call them out. What
And
was your role in my crazy? Right?
and if I am kind of going off the deep end, well, yeah, it's my responsibility, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny that whole word crazy.
Right.
Very interesting.
I know. I know. We should do a whole like segment on just the word crazy in and of itself.
And exactly
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
this world is crazy right now.
It is. It has been
That
for,
would be my
probably
interpretation.
about what is it, 6 or 7 years COVID came into play? When did that and everybody just kinda went, "Whoo," way down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think as a whole, we suffered very, very deeply,
Big
and
time.
people in recovery, we like work.
Yep.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
and when the government started cutting um a lot of the resources for people struggling with mental health and
Yep.
addiction,
Mhm.
like the relapses, the overdoses, the like anyway, that's a whole other different kettle of fish, but
Well, so many people suffered, right?
Mhm.
So many people suffered.
Yep.
And my mental health took a hit too during COVID.
Yep.
You
I
know,
think,
and I
yeah.
already struggle with mental health issues. So to have that compounded when you're locked down and your kids
Mhm.
are locked down and everybody's locked down,
Mhm.
you know, and I can just imagine but they left like LCBOs open.
Well, they was deemed
Okay, good.
essential, which I'm okay with, because there are some people, again, who, but there are other things like essential, like schools and things
Mhm,
like that,
mhm.
they weren't making money off of, so that's why they just shut them down.
That's right. That's right.
But as a whole, I think we're all in recovery,
Yeah. With a
like
lot of
societal.
traumas. Yep. All kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. And I think often people, and we've talked about this too, it's often there might be a trigger that sends somebody
Hmm.
into the spiral of addiction or substance abuse. Um, you know, a childhood wound, you know,
Hmm.
whatever. You witness a car accident. You know, people who go to war. You know, a death. Those are all traumatic events that can trigger.
Hmm.
You know, a mental imbalance, a mental health
Hmm.
imbalance, or whatever you want to call that. And people, it's self medicating, right? People
Hmm.
cope in different ways. And
I think where people relapse, though, too, is when they get really sure of themselves and been like, oh, I can have a beer. And some people
Mhm.
can,
Yep,
but
yep,
majority, and so they'll dabble with it, and
hmm,
they'll kind of go off the track of treatment that works for them.
yep,
And so,
yep,
and that's, you have to be mindful daily.
yep, yep. Or then there's people too who, you know, have drug use issues, but they don't drink.
Right.
You know, well,
Right.
I stopped drinking,
Hmm.
but you do what? Or vice
Yeah.
versa, right?
Yeah.
Like I drink, well, at least I'm not using drugs.
Hmm. And sometimes that is recovery for people, like,
What do you mean?
and in their mind, like, there's,
Oh, in their
again,
mind, yeah.
but with work, like, I've had some, more harm reduction approaches, and I'm
Mhm,
not, I believe, I support harm reduction. I don't believe it's complete recovery. But when you have somebody who's been shooting up heroin and selling their body and this and that, and they're using marijuana
mhm,
per se, and they're actually got an apartment and they have a part-time job, and so, like, in the recovery community, they would be like, oh, they're not in recovery, they're just
right,
not. And it's
right,
like, okay, they may not be in your recovery program
right,
that works for
right,
you,
right.
but and that's why it's a more harm reduction approach, which,
Mhm, mhm.
it's there again, there's a very fine line in what is recovery and what is not
Yeah,
for some people.
there's a spectrum, I guess, yeah, like
Yeah.
what it means to me is not what it means to you and vice versa, and
Hmm.
even amongst
Hmm.
your profession, right?
Hmm. Yeah, because when I've worked in the treatment centers, it's like abstinence, like absolute,
Yeah,
like
oh, everything, yeah.
everything. I mean,
Yeah,
but they allow coffee and smoking, though, which are
right,
drugs.
right,
So
hmm, yeah.
it's like, where do we,
Where do you draw the line? Yeah,
so it's, and
yeah,
that's the thing, I think, is being upfront and honest about your recovery and what it looks like and what you want it to look like and what works for you, because somebody who's in recovery who's just smoking marijuana, they may be able to do that for 15 years and live successfully, but
mhm.
somebody who's smoking marijuana, it might trigger them and they might relapse and go back to their drug of choice. So
Yeah,
it's such
exactly.
a controversial way of looking at things, and
Mhm.
I'm definitely more open to alternatives
Yeah,
than I was before,
yeah,
because I've seen some alternatives work for people, like, long term. I'm
yeah,
not telling
exactly.
anybody to go smoke, weed or whatever if
Yeah,
they're in their treatment program. It just, I've seen it work for other people.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people, turn to, marijuana when they have anxiety,
Hmm. Or
right?
pain management.
Yep. Yep, true, exactly. There's a reason they legalized it, right?
Hmm.
And Yeah, it's a substance
Well,
that a
even
lot of
my
people.
brother Jay, like when he had cancer, right, and he didn't want to do the morphine because it just made him sleep. And Jay didn't smoke weed. Like he just that wasn't his thing. And I remember
Mhm.
sitting on the porch, I'm like, let's try some shit. And I don't smoke weed, but I was like, let's figure this out. And we had a great time.
Yeah.
And he was able to laugh and giggle. I mean, it wasn't a long-term thing because he was so sick. But
Yeah.
for that week or two, there was some good times,
Yeah, and you can
you know,
look
and I
back
kind of understood the medicinal um
aspect of it.
aspect of it. Because I'll be really honest
Um,
with you, like when the Trudeau government wanted to legalize marijuana, I wasn't like, yay, you know, I was
yeah,
very on
no.
the fence about it. So
No. It's funny
it's
too because like I think our generation, like if I'm walking around in a crowd and I smell marijuana, I'm just right away I'm like like still my initial reaction
oh
is
my
still so
God.
like
Yeah.
what are they doing? And then you think, "Oh yeah, wait a minute, it's 2025."
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
But right
Yeah.
away I go there too like, "Oh my god, what are they doing?" Like I'm not a pot smoker, so
Yeah.
for me
Neither am I.
it's not my
I
jam.
mean, once in a blue moon,
Yeah.
whatever, but it's not something I would partake in
Yeah. Well,
individually. I would
me
never buy it on my own or roll a and that's fine. I
yeah.
don't judge people who do it.
Yeah.
Like fill your boots, have fun.
That's it.
It just doesn't
That's it. It's just not for me either. No, not my
no,
jam. No.
exactly.
But
So our takeaway, you
yeah,
know, uh recovery works one day at a time, I think. And in every aspect, maybe it's whether
every
we can think about, oh, well, abstinence and what does that mean? But one day at a time, I think it works flawlessly.
yeah, that's the way I prefer to look at it too. Is I
Hmm.
okay, I got through today.
Hmm.
Tomorrow we'll get through tomorrow,
Hmm.
right? And it's the I think there's beauty in the struggle
Yes.
because through that you find your strength
Hmm.
and through strength resilience is built,
Hmm.
right? So you have like it's a whole process of evolution, personal evolution, spiritual evolution.
Hmm.
Um, you have to go through that struggle, and you know, not initially do you see it as beautiful. Fuck
No,
no.
oh,
Let me,
hell no. You're
let me
like,
tell you,
what?
when you're on that floor and you're crying and you want to rip your hair out, and you're not thinking, "Oh, this is so fucking beautiful." No, no, definitely no. But later, when you can look back at yourself and look at the person that you've grown into
Hmm.
because of your struggles,
Hmm.
that's where I think the beauty of it comes into play. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
when you've become more grounded, more secure in yourself, more confident.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, struggles aren't failures,
no, no,
you know, and struggles are either teachers or lessons.
that's it. That's
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
I have to look at them as both teachers and lessons.
Hmm.
Yep. There's a lesson in
And
everything.
and and we don't do it perfect, and
Mm-mm.
that's okay.
No.
Because some of the imperfections about recovery is what really kind of sits with you,
Yep.
you know, and
Yep.
it's so it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Well, the
It
goal
just
is
has to be
progress. The goal is
exactly,
progress. Just a
absolutely.
little bit better than yesterday or a little bit better than an hour ago. You
Hmm.
know, perfection isn't the goal, right?
No, no.
No.
The goal is to get sober or to be in recovery or to be healed from whatever brought you down that path
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I think spiritual recovery, because it's like a lot of recovery is faith based,
Mhm.
so to speak. I
Mhm.
think,
Mhm. Mine
there
is.
are
Yep.
there's
Mine is.
programs though that don't bring God into it at all.
Right.
And that's fine. But um I just think a lot of the treatment programs that I've seen because of AA and when it started in what 1940 something or whatever.
Mhm.
um uh, I've seen a lot of success stories with a treatment program that is
It's
spiritual
faith-based?
based.
Spiritual based? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. It's like I said, where we often look externally for answers, right? Like there's a reason why when people are going through something, like we look up at the sky, right? You look at the sky and you're like,
Yeah.
fuck me, help, help, something help me, someone help me,
Yeah.
right? So there's that whole saying too, like when that plane's going down, you're praying to somebody.
Exactly.
Right? Like you're not, I don't know how agnostic you are when that plane's going down.
Right.
You know,
Right.
a lot of people all of a sudden find God.
Yes.
Very quickly.
And God may be finding light even.
That's it. That's
right?
it.
Like
Whatever you want to
you may
call
be
it.
praying to the light, the stars, the moon, the ground, the water,
That's it.
but
Yep.
stepping outside of yourself, because we can be our worst enemy.
Yep.
It's handing it over and being like, I need help with this.
Yep. Yep. I need help. I can't do it on my own.
Reconnecting with meaning.
Yep. With something, with spirit, with source, with a something bigger than you.
Exactly.
Something bigger than you. Right?
Yeah, I had a friend tell me one time, and he's been in recovery for a very long time, and he's had a couple of relapses. And he said, like, sometimes recovery can look very selfish because it's or even people that are using it, like it may people may perceive it as very selfish.
Well, you have to, like, if you're trying to overcome something like that, your priority has to be you in that moment,
Yeah,
right?
you can't get sober for anybody else.
No, it's
Period.
got to be for you. It's got to be for you because it's like you said, you too, you've had clients who have gotten sober for their kids, quote unquote.
Yeah, and then their
When their
kids
kids leave the
go,
nest,
yep.
then what? Then you're
And
on your own.
then she ended up relapsing.
Yeah. Then you're on your
And
own, right?
she's like, well, I did this for my kids and da da da. And I'm like, yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
But she had to do her sobriety for herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
You have to find your why, right? You have to find your why. And I think when it comes to substance abuse, your why needs to be you, right? Your why needs to be you. And I think when it comes to leaning into a faith or spirituality or whatever, I think that brings a level of peace with it. You know, I know it does for me. I know that when I look at something as though there's a bigger picture, there's something more at play here than just what I'm going through. It does bring me a level of peace, and I'm able to kind of lean into that and let it flow. You know, just kind of let the river take you down. Let it go, right? Let it all go.
Well, and that's it. It builds resilience too, because you're like, "Oh, I can ride that wave, and I'm not going to bust a hip.
That's it. That's it, right?
I'm going to ride that wave. It's going to be a little bit crazy. Hold on tight."
Yeah.
But it at the end, then you start trusting yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You learn to trust yourself. Exactly. Too. And I think, and I've shared it with you before too, the whole, religion versus spirituality. Religion is believing somebody else's experience, and spirituality is trusting in your own.
Right. Yeah.
Because with religion, with Allah, Jesus, whatever you want to call it, it's a story of what somebody else has gone through, right? A story, a guideline, principles or whatever to follow. And spirituality is trusting that your journey is your own, and nobody can walk that road for you. Nobody. A story about somebody else is not going to fix you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think it might for some people, because some people, they don't believe in the spirituality because they don't believe it comes from them, and if they want to believe in God or Jesus or Mary or or Allah, like you said, it may work for them. And I think what I'm seeing a lot is that people start with religion because they need to
Yes.
trust somebody other than themselves. And
Yeah.
then when they get through recovery and they build through that, then they can start believing in themselves and they become
Makes
more
sense.
spiritual.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
Maybe
sense.
it's an evolution.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
You
can
know,
see that.
it's a possibility. It's
I
just
can see that.
something that
I can see that. Well, it's too like, Christianity, for example, like the 10 commandments. Those are just good rules to follow, dude.
they are.
You know,
Yep. Yep. They are.
like don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't sleep with your neighbor's wife. Like pretty,
Yeah.
good things to follow.
Yeah. I mean, good principles for sure.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
So it's a good foundation. It's a good base. I mean, I think that's what kind of why transitioning into spirituality was easier for me because I kind of had that, that foundation that my parents instilled in me. But I found my own way. I found my own way.
And I think when you get there, that what it does for yourself is it encourages like gratitude. Like, wow,
Big
I'm
time.
I'm lucky, or
Big
I'm
time.
thankful, or I'm grateful. Like there
Yeah.
was this trending thing on Facebook a couple of years ago. It may still be going on, but people would challenge people like a 5-day gratitude thing where you would
Mhm.
every day post something that you were grateful for. And that's such a beautiful thing.
Yep. Yep. No, attitude, gratitude, right? It's
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
there's a lot of research on that shows that just changing your mindset in that way can completely change your life and your outlook on things too. Like, so there's this practice in my house where if I have a full table, if there's a seats everyone at the table, you have to say 3 good things that happened to you today, right?
Nice.
And everyone hates it. They hate when I make them do it. Because the kids, I'm like Wyatt, what are 3 good things that happened to you today? And he's like, I don't want to do this. But it forces you to take a second. And there's days where literally the only good thing that happened to me today is that the sun was out. The sun came out. That's it. I have nothing else to say.
But at least the sun came out.
The sun came out.
Yep.
The sun came out, and I had to think about it for a minute and find something good. And the purpose behind that activity for me is to try and instill in my kids and anyone who sits at my table for that matter to look for the good things even before they happen. Just look for the good. And it's just a small little thing. And then there was one time it was suggested too, like, well, can we talk about one shitty thing that happened too?
Right.
Like, if I have to say 3 good things, can I talk about one shitty thing too? Absolutely. Let's do this,
Yeah, let's
talk
own
about
it.
What's on your mind, So it was kind of cute. But yeah, 3 good things that happened to you today. And sometimes it's hard. It's hard to find that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it can be,
it's
like
there.
talking with an old friend today, or, I heard this joke, or, like just something that just for 1 second brought some light into your heart,
And I think sometimes when you're in the midst of it, right, just waking up, breathing, I think it changes as we evolve through it. Like sometimes, especially when you're in the grips of addiction, like substance abuse addiction, like you may not wake up tomorrow.
That's it.
Like, so I think as we evolve through recovery, it changes on what we're grateful for because we can see a bigger picture. The first day of recovery, you're going to be like, I fucking hate this world and blah, 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 blah. And there's really nothing. But then your list gets longer on things that you're grateful for.
True.
And I think maturity too. Like what I was grateful for when I was like 20 is way different now. And I'm 46.
I'm grateful for the $20 in my pocket that can get me through a night at the bar. You're 20. That's, hey, you tuck it in your bra, you're good to go. You got a solid night there on a $20 bill, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, inflation is
now. It's like I have food to put on my table and in my children's mouths, and I want to see them smile. Like it's like you said, it changes. Maturity, life. I think the older I get, the smaller those things get. Do you know what I mean? Like I see, like there's times where I'll look at my kids and I'll be like, "Oh, wow, look at, like, how the light is hitting his face right now. He just
Mm-hmm.
looks so pure," you know?
Yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
little tiny moments like that that you learn to recognize. Um,
Absolutely.
or like, look at the freckles on their face, or, like
Mm-hmm.
little things. And, it just kinda warms your heart. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have that little moment of gratitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our kids, that's the one thing that is never steered. Well, I mean, in actuality, the reason why I think I'm still here, to be honest with you, is because of my children. And I don't mean to put that on them,
No,
but
not at all. Not at
the
all.
it's they're
Well, they're a
amazing
driving
little human
force
beings.
sometimes when you feel like you've got nothing left, right?
And you're grateful. And you
100%.
want those moments. You want to wake up and, have Olivia put mayonnaise on pears like this morning. You're like, what the hell?
Oh, Liv.
She's just chomping on her pears with where's peanut butter or jam or
Mayonnaise. I love her so much.
whatever. And it's just like,
Oh, it's
and some of the
beautiful.
stuff that she tries to do, I'll try, but mayonnaise and pears, I don't think
Yeah. I
so.
don't know. It just doesn't go, Liv. One day she'll have her own restaurant and she can, you know.
Well, and I think it'll be like specifically geared to ASD,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because my
Exactly.
daughter is on the spectrum. So maybe she'll like become with
Right?
sensory foods or something like
That's
that.
it.
She'd
That's it.
probably do something amazing like that.
Connoisseur. It's like people with autism, they love pears and mayonnaise. You just don't know what's going on right now. Yeah.
But I mean, crunchy peanut butter, no way.
No, God forbid.
It's
No. No.
we
No.
learn
Yep.
we learn so
Yeah.
much.
Well, we learn a lot from our kids, right? I
Hmm.
think we
Well,
learn
that's
a
where
lot from them.
we have to nurture the connections we have with people as well. Yes,
Yep.
people can nurture, but it's also our responsibility to nurture them
That's
as
right.
well in partnerships and anything like that.
Yep.
It's super
Yep.
important.
To contribute to their happiness. So other people aren't responsible for our happiness, but like we talked about
Yeah.
this in the responsibility versus accountability,
Yes.
right? We're
Yes.
not responsible and other people like they're not responsible for our happiness, but we have a responsibility to contribute to people's happiness, I think.
Hmm.
Whether
Or
that's a
not to
stranger
deplete it.
and you have the cashier and she has, like really pretty hair, like I really like your hair, like where do you get
Hmm.
your hair done?
Yeah.
Like little things like that. Like I know when I receive a compliment like that from a stranger or something, it's like,
Hmm.
thanks, thank you.
And that's where we have to nurture each other and take care of
Yeah,
each other.
for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. I know. I know.
Yeah. And there's different pathways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different ways to
So
do it. Yep.
I think yours is you're a big advocate for breath work, right?
Yes. In
Hmm.
certain moments. And there's so many
Hmm.
people have so many different ways of doing it too, right? Like
Hmm.
mine, I tend to put my hand on my heart
Hmm.
and, 3 times, 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds, 4 seconds out. And you can have little mantras, I receive strength as
Hmm.
you're breathing in, and I release fear as you're breathing out.
Hmm. Right.
And there's lots of little ways to do it. Some people think 10 seconds, some people, whatever it looks like. I think it's to ground yourself, to recenter yourself, to when you focus on breath, it keeps you
Hmm.
present.
Right.
And it's like with meditation too. When you're meditating,
Hmm.
you're focusing on your breath. You're focusing on being present in the moment
Hmm.
and trying to drown out the noise, right? And
Yeah.
external stimulation. And
I
yeah,
suck at meditation. I just suck. I've tried
you got to
and
start somewhere, man. Got
well,
to
and I
start
think that's where
vibing.
I have other forms of meditation. Like I think it's music with me.
Yeah,
I'm getting into walking again, and like you and I,
yeah,
we both like nature. We both like camping.
hmm,
So it's just taking that extra push to maybe take time in nature.
yeah, big time. Big time. I think that's yeah, it's huge for me too. And I feel like we tend to touch on that on every episode too. It's
Hmm.
the out in nature, being out
Yeah.
there. It's my jam. Yeah.
Hmm. And acts of kindness. and like not
Yeah.
to do something to get something in return, but just to genuinely just help someone. I know that
I
makes
agree.
me feel awesome when I help somebody that,
Yeah, it
maybe
does.
needed help.
Yeah. And I think, well, I mean, that's one of the reasons we're doing this podcast too, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not this, yes, it's for us and we're having fun and whatever, but maybe one person will hear something
Mhm.
that helps them.
Oh, I was
You
pretty
know?
impressed with and for anybody who's watched our other episodes, amazing. But I noticed when we talked about the first part of recovery, we got a lot of views
There's a lot
in
of
a
good feedback
very
too.
short.
A lot of good feedback. Yeah.
And so start sharing with us what, because we got a lot to talk about.
We do.
And
So
with,
much to talk about.
but it was just like we just realized, well, like people want to hear about, recovery. They want to hear about other things. And so please share with us.
Yeah. Or if you
Mhm.
guys, if you have any ideas on topics for episodes and
Mhm.
stuff too, like we have a whole slew. Like we can probably keep you all busy for a couple of years at this point, but we're good listeners too. We're willing to hear you out.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah,
you
no, and
if you
it,
think you know if you got something tasty, something juicy to
mhm.
talk about, let us know.
Yeah, no, I think that's, because really what this is as much as we may be helping people, you're helping us too,
Oh, big time,
really.
big
And
time,
I've
big time.
reconnected with
Yep,
friends and family over this, which is amazing.
yep.
It gives us something new to talk about and to look forward to. And we talk about gratitude, I'm so grateful.
Oh, me too. Big time,
Hmm.
big time. It's something I've hung on to lately, a lot,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot.
So
Yeah, and it makes you feel better, a little bit better every day.
yeah, it's a new healing journey, I think,
It
for the
is
better.
recovery. It's a new recovery journey for us.
Exactly.
See what I did there? You see that? Yeah.
Oh, girls, you're good.
See what I did there?
So good. Um, our next episode, I usually end the
Mhm.
conversation with that was a great conversation. Oh,
It was a beautiful conversation, Kel.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so our next episodes, I think we've discussed
Yeah.
what's coming.
Authenticity.
Hmm.
Authenticity. I think it's a big one, and
Hmm.
I think it's one that's hard for people.
Yeah,
I think it's
I
intimidating.
know I've struggled.
People have that
Hmm.
mask and
And this is where I think you and I, because we're two very different people with this, so I think I'm like
Mhm.
so excited to have this conversation with you.
I know, I know. I really am too. It's
Because
going to be a good
we
one.
have really two different kind of takes on it, but I
Yes.
think we want the same results, but it's just our perspective is
That's
different,
it.
and
That's it.
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a
I
blast.
just won't be over caffeinated when I talk.
I know. We'll settle down. We'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think authenticity, and I think we were throwing around two boundaries may be
Yeah.
coming up next. Like, and
Yep.
if you guys think that's a great idea, like let us know because
Yeah.
there's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
boundaries is a
There's
goodie too.
huge. That's a juicy topic too, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
But yeah, if
anyway,
you guys, if you feel so inclined, like and subscribe, pretty please.
yeah,
It's it means a lot to us. And
it
just
sure does.
if you can take anything away from today, remind yourself of that serenity prayer,
Hmm.
right?
It's a beautiful prayer.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Thanks for coming.
Amen. Peace out.
All right. Have a wonderful afternoon, everyone.
Bye.